Welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel, guys. Of course, today we are going to be going through all of the fallout from another Clásico defeat for Barça, which has left us all extremely frustrated. We're going to be talking about some individual performances and indeed the injury situation right now following that game on Sunday. And of course, we do have to cover the unsavoury scenes surrounding Ronald Koeman after the final whistle at the Camp Nou yesterday. It is all coming up. So let's get to it. Because if we start, first of all, by addressing those injury concerns and some of the individual performances, starting with Ansu Fati. And I want to get this one done straight away because it has been reported after the game yesterday that Ansu had discomfort in his knee. Which I think when you hear those words together, given everything we've gone through there with Ansu and that knee, alarm bells start ringing. But I just want to say, guys, take a deep breath. It is okay. It is not a concern. It's the other knee anyway. It's not the knee that was operated on with Ansu Fati's injury problems. It's just a knock. It's a little bit sore there from a coming together during the game, and it is not expected there to be any kind of problem for Ansu, with the club expecting him to be fit on Wednesday to face Rayo Vallecano. However, when it comes to Frenkie de Jong, things are less positive for actually a number of reasons. Because yesterday during El Clásico, I have to say I thought it was one of the worst performances we've seen from Frenkie de Jong in a Barcelona shirt, so much so that he was subbed off there, with Roberto replacing him for the final 15 minutes of the game. What I do have to say though is that after the game, it did emerge then that de Jong had been suffering with some muscle discomfort before the match, but both he and indeed Ronald Koeman still decided to start him, something that really didn't pay off. Like I say, de Jong didn't play well, that was clear from the word go, and not only that, but even more worryingly now, he's aggravated the problem. I mean, what do you expect when you play somebody there who already has some issues? It's going to get worse. You are going to aggravate it. And today, lo and behold, the club have confirmed that de Jong has suffered there a hamstring strain. He's going to be out reportedly for between 7 to 10 days. So nothing too serious, but he's going to miss more games. And honestly, right now, I do worry about de Jong in this team. Not only in yesterday's performance, obviously he had some problems there, but even before that, over the past few weeks, it has just been getting to me that de Jong, it doesn't look right. I think in this midfield right now, he looks a bit lost. He looks as though he's not really sure what he's supposed to be doing. And admittedly, that goes for many of the players at Barca right now, but especially de Jong, when you know what he's capable of, when you know the kind of player that he is, he looks a shadow right now of his former self. He looks like he doesn't know whether to defend. He looks like he doesn't know whether to attack. He doesn't know where to run. He doesn't know where to be. That's not right. That is simply not right. And I really do feel sad watching him right now. And it shouldn't feel that way. That, though, is not the end of the injury concerns, because incredibly, it wasn't just de Jong last night that played with an injury problem. After it also came out after the game that Gerard Piqué played through pain-killing injections after the club apparently hid the fact that he had calf discomfort there before El Clásico. And it's just unbelievable. Yesterday, when you factor in there that Jordi Alba also played with pain-killing injections yesterday, you've got de Jong playing through discomfort. That's 3 players out there who are nowhere near fit, nowhere near at all, and yet they're being forced out there. I can understand one player. If you're absolutely desperate, if you really need it for a big game, you can just about make that happen with painkillers. But 3 players in your team, at the core of your team there, that aren't fully fit? What kind of decision making is that there to go and put those players out there on the field now? And like I say, there is questions certainly over Piqué, definitely about de Jong in terms of aggravating those problems, and whether they're going to be available now for the coming games. Which, of course, brings us on to the topic of Ronald Koeman. Of course, it was a very, very bad day at the office yesterday for Koeman. He made yet more unwanted Barcelona history. He became the first Barca coach in 85 years to lose 3 successive Clásico matches, which of course is a massive, massive blow for him. The 2 last season, we lost very comfortably. Yesterday, of course, 2-0 down. We pulled one back at the last minute, but it was never really in doubt that Real were going to get the win yet again. And honestly, right now, what's to say that when we go to the Bernabeu, if things stay as they are, if we just stay on the path that we're on, who's to say we won't make it 4 successive Clásico defeats? However, what I also have to say is that all of this is not an excuse for the scenes that we saw after the game last night. Because as you can see right here, Ronald Koeman was leaving the Camp Nou in his car. A lot of fans there gathered around him. A lot there in a very tight space. They were banging on the windows. There was people there actually kicking the car. All of that kind of stuff. And just watching that there for me, that's not Barca. We've seen these kind of images, we've seen these kind of things happen at other clubs in the past when things haven't been going well. Of course there's frustration, but I just don't want to see this kind of thing here coming into our club. This is not the way that we behave, this is not the way that we go about wanting change. There is plenty of ways there that if you're unhappy with Ronald Koeman, if you don't see the future looking good with Koeman, then there's a way to go about that. Inside the stadium there, you go in, you pay your money, you are very much entitled to your opinion. We've heard whistles from the stands. We heard them yesterday when Luke de Jong came onto the field. We're unhappy right now. There is no getting away from that. And I think we are well within our rights when we're consistently losing to our biggest rivals. But that's on the field there. That's inside the stadium. I think when you come out there, apparently Ronald Koeman's wife was actually in the car. When you go in home there, you shouldn't feel threatened. You shouldn't feel as though, you need security around you to sort of protect you from your own fans. That, like I say, is not something that we should or want to be seeing as a club. And I just think it's such a shame that we've actually got to this point. I think Ronald Koeman, as we know, as a player, he's a club legend. There's no getting away from that as a player. What he gave to the club will always be written in our history. But it just made me think there yesterday of the quote, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And that is exactly what we are seeing happen right now before our eyes. Because honestly right now, it only seems to be getting worse. We only seem to be heading in one direction. And as the club here seem determined not to sack Ronald Koeman has no intention, it seems, of resigning from his position, there is going to be frustration. Things are probably going to get worse. And that is why, as a club legend, you've seen the likes there of Luis Enrique leave his position when he felt he wasn't taking the team forward. You've seen Xavi and Iniesta there leaving the club when they felt they were no longer at the level that they expected from themselves. Carlos Puyol called time on his career when he felt he couldn't give his best anymore. And I think especially when you're a legend of the club, when you have that kind of status, you've got to act there in the club's best interest. You've got to think about the bigger picture, because the longer this goes on, the lower this club sinks. Koeman is hurting his reputation. Laporta is hurting his reputation. We don't want that. We don't want that there for legends of this club. But there's no doubt in my mind that things have to change. Because right now, the latest reports in the media say that Ronald Koeman will not be sacked here following that recent loss to Real Madrid. The club still maintain their confidence in him for now. Apparently, Barca will only consider sacking Ronald Koeman if Barca fail to reach the knockout stages of the Champions League. And honestly, by then, it might be too late. You're talking there about another month at least to see if we reach the knockout stages. And what happens then if we don't? Suddenly then it's like, oh, Ronald Koeman, by the way, you're not doing a good job. We've known that for ages now. Why are we waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting? What's our league position going to be like by the end of November? By mid-December? It is not going to be looking pretty if we continue on this trajectory. And I just don't understand. From any level there, I think Koeman's personal reputation, I think the way that he wants to see himself in the history of this club, it's not looking good for him. Laporta, why he will not make a decision, I can't understand it. And for the club as a whole, we are not moving in the right direction. With every passing game, we are getting worse and not better. And how many more times are we going to have to say it? The time to act, it's now. It was yesterday. It was last week. It was last month. Hurry up and do something. Because, yeah, obviously, guys, the day after the Clásico here, still feeling pretty down, still feeling pretty disappointed, frustrated, all of that kind of stuff. But also, just looking forward, I want to see that there's some progress. I want to see that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that we can move forward and we can get back where we belong. But where is that light right now? Where is that bright spark going to come from when we just seem set in our ways and unwilling to change on what we're seeing right now at this club? Please do let me know all of your reaction now the day after the Clásico. How do you feel about the game, the result, the performance? How do you feel about the Ronald Koeman situation, his future at the club? Please do let me know all of those thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, I'll see you soon. We'll keep coming back. We'll keep talking it out. We'll keep venting our frustration here. Because right now, it feels like that's all that we can do, and better to do it together than to do it alone. Thank you indeed, guys, for watching and indeed for your amazing support, even during these difficult times. I'll be back soon, but until next time, as always, Visca, El Barça!